Hi Flosstube, it's Darlene with Darlene Dion Designs, here for another cross stitch video, Flosstube. This is Flosstube number 55. Today is February 22nd, 2025. It's a nice day here. It started out as a nice day here. It's morning, mid-morning, and it's snowing right now quite hard, but it was beautiful sunny when we got up and started the day, but you can see the sun shining through the snowflakes, but it's very pretty right now. So it's been staying chilly. We had really heavy wind on the weekend, hurricane force winds, but we didn't have any damage. And yeah, it's winter in Nova Scotia. I'm on the east coast of Canada in Nova Scotia, and if you're new here, welcome. I appreciate you stopping in to check out my YouTube, and if you've been here for a while, I appreciate you so much too for coming back. If you are new, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button. I'm climbing up on 3,000 subscribers, so anyway, I've been home a lot, just like last video. I think it's been just a little over 2 weeks since I did my previous video. I had 3 days that week that I had to be out, and that was kind of crazy, which, considering I hadn't been out very much, and but they were all doctor's appointments and things like that that I had to be out for. And honestly, I don't think I've been out since. I'm just enjoying home so much. Yeah, I would have probably been to church on the 8th, maybe. I know there was one. No, I don't think I was, because I think that was the Sunday that church was canceled because of the weather. And then last week I wasn't able to go, but the ice here has been crazy. We had 2 storms kind of a few days apart. I think one was on a Wednesday or Thursday, and then the other one I think was on a Sunday, and they both started out with some snow, not a lot, and then we went to several hours of freezing rain, and then we had kind of like a hard freeze back to snow again. And so everything was ice. The roads have been terrible. I don't think I've ever, for as long as I can remember, I don't think I've ever heard as many people talk about how bad the roads are this year. It seems like Department of Transportation has made some cuts. Now, I do hear rumors that it's because they have lack of drivers for the machines, you know, the plows and the salt and sand trucks and whatnot. I'm not sure if that's 100%, but that's what they tell us. Anyway, so the roads have been terrible. There was no school, I think. Well, I know there was no school Tuesday and Wednesday. Monday was a holiday. And I think Thursday or Friday from the previous week, one of those days, there was maybe even both of those days, because I think they had 7 days off all over the holiday and the weekend and everything. Anyway, it's because the roads have been so icy. It's just been crazy. I didn't even dare leave the house, our driveway, and the salt and sand. None of the stores that typically sell salt and sand had any. They had sold out. So you're seeing people that heavy equipment operators, they're coming with loads of sand and salt and selling them by the bucket full. So we haven't had a chance to get it. We do have some salt here anyway, because we always have some on hand, but we need more for what might be yet to come. So anyway, yeah. But like I said, it's winter and I love it. It's my favorite season, and I know it's coming. I know it's going to last 3 or 4 months, and I don't let it bug me. It is what it is. Yeah. Anyway, and like I said, I'm home, and that's where I want to be anyway. So, okay, you're here for, I should say thank you to so many of you who commented last time to wish me well with my journey with diabetes. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in January, and really struggled with coming to terms with that for a little while. Anyway, I'm doing much better. I check my blood twice a day, and it's almost always between 6 and 7, which they're happy that that's where it is. So anyway, yeah, I'm doing well, and I'm eating a low carb diet, and I'm not losing much weight, but I'm hoping that that's a side benefit. I lose really hard because I have thyroid issues. You'll see I have a scar here. Actually, 10 years ago, yes, 10 years ago this month, I had thyroid removed. And so yeah, it fluctuates up and down all the time. They can't seem to get me on a medication, on a dose of the medicine that suits me. I don't know why, but anyway, that seems to play a big part in my weight loss or lack of. But yeah, it's coming off slow and hard, but hopefully because of the benefits, or because of the that would be a side benefit, I guess, of having to deal with diabetes. I did not know, though, that unexplained weight loss can be a symptom of type 2 diabetes. So that's interesting to know. Okay, so enough of that. Thank you so much for the well wishes. I really, really appreciate that. I had a giveaway last time for, I will say, most of my stitching this month has been for new releases from me. I really, it just kind of, it's just been happening one after another. You'll hear the dogs. They're having a little, they're having a little race spell out there, zoomies. Anyway, this month has just kind of been my month for designing, I guess. One thing is I design on my desktop computer. The program I have is on that, and that was downstairs in a spare bedroom, and I hardly ever made myself go down there and use it. But I brought the computer up into the living room, and so quite often when I'm hot, having a flash, ladies. Quite often when I'm just watching TV or, in the evening, especially when my eyes are tired and I'm done stitching for the day, I'll turn it on and design something or work on designing something. So I think that that's part of the reason. It's there. It's easier access. I can stay with my honey and continue watching what we're watching. And I think I'm going to make a way to leave it there. So anyway, so I had stitched this and released it before my last Flosstube, and I was doing a giveaway for 2 PDF charts of Stitchy Friends. So this is the 5th in my line of Quakers, I think. 5th. I have a Christmas one. I have a Stitchy, Stitch All the Things. I should have brought them all in. God Bless Us Everyone is the Christmas one. Stitch All the Things. Sweet Spring. I think there's another one. Drawing a blank. Anyway, so then there was this one. And I love the colors. I'm really, and you guys, wow, you've really loved it too. You've really, really blessed me with lots of sales in my shop. So the pattern is there in my Etsy shop, available now, and I appreciate all of those of you who have already purchased. But I did do a giveaway, and I put everyone's name in who used the word friends in my last video. And I have 2 names that I used the random comment generator this morning, and the first one is Home Sweet Home Handmade. So if you could contact me, my email is in the drop down below. You can contact me there, and I will send back to you the PDF for the Stitchy Friends Quaker. And the second one is Ruth 8676. So Ruth, if you could contact me also, that would be great. And I'll have a giveaway later in today's video too. Just looking at Abby here. Okay, so I will show you my book of days. I'm enjoying it very much. I have stitched every day so far in February. Some days not a whole lot, but definitely every day. And yeah. So, the day after I did my last Flosstube, I started a new pattern to go in my DMC addresses series. So if you're new here and you've not seen this before, I decided it would be fun to do, I love stitching houses. So I thought it would be fun to do a line of patterns based on some of my favorite DMC colors, or not necessarily always my favorites, but I mean, I love them all, but the ones that I use a lot and the ones that get called for a lot. So the first one I did was 221 Blessings Boulevard. So 221 is the house number for the floss number for the house and the address. So it's 221, DMC 221 is this burgundy, and that's the address. And then the second one was 580, which is this green. So 580 Harmony Hill, and that one I did in the fall. And then the new one, I knew I wanted it to be nautical, so I chose a gray, and it's 317 Driftwood Drive. So I loved stitching this gray house. It had to have a red door. I have a thing for red doors. A boat in the background with some water. This blue is just 2 shades of DMC blue. It's not a variegated blue. The weather vane. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I have a blue and tan fabric on the back. It matches this fabric very well. Oh, what is this? I think it's Dune. I think it's 36 count Dunes. I should have, I know it's not in there either. So anyway, and then I used a piece of this baker's twine, is that what it's called? To go around the outside of it with. So really pleased with how. So I end up with 3 now in my series. I'm really loving them. So the next one, can you guess what color the next one might be? I don't even know yet. But hey, make a suggestion. I did have one lady email me. I can't remember what her name was, but I'm not even sure I've replied. But anyway, I really appreciate when you make suggestions. She suggested a Canadian, a house done in red, a DMC red, with a Canadian flag flying in the yard. So I will probably do that eventually. But yeah. So Driftwood Drive. And then the next one, I decided to do another Quaker. And like I said, this is either the 4th. Just a minute. I'm going to go get the others. Yes. The one I couldn't remember was the True Patriot Love, the Canadian one. So, True Canadian, True Patriot Love with our beautiful maple leaf. Sweet Spring. God Bless Us Everyone. This was the first one. And Stitch All the Things. So these 2 have been crazy popular. The others are too, but not as much as these 2. So thank you so much. Okay. And then my new one is Blessed to be Called Mum. And that pretty much says it all for me. I'm a mom first and foremost. Yeah, I am truly blessed to be a mom. I have a 37-year-old son and a 35-year-old daughter, and it's definitely been a blessing. Just, yeah. For a long time, I didn't think it was going to happen. But the Lord answered our prayers, and we have 2 beautiful children that we love so very much. So, blessed to be a mom, blessed to be called mom. And one reason I decided to do this phrase was because I wanted a mom stitch, but I wanted it to be one that I could stitch myself. You know, if my daughter or my son, which neither one of them would be a stitcher, but if someone was going to stitch you as a mom a piece, it would probably be like World's Best Mom or Mom, I love you so much, or, you know, but this phrase is definitely a mom phrase, like from the mom's heart. So that's why I chose this phrase to put on there. I have a B for my daughter. Her name is Bobby Joe. And I have a K for my son. His name is Keith. One was born in 87 and one was born in 89. Now, if you have more than 2 kids, you could take this out, you could take this out, put whatever you want. You could put one in here probably. You just take out the small motifs to put in what you want. Now, as for the date, I filled the center with a heart. The words here are, or the numbers are backstitched. But, you know, you could just put 87, 89, 92, 94, whatever you need. You could even extend this a little bit. You could bring this over a little bit and a little bit farther this way to put what you need in there. Or you don't even have to put anything in there. You could put love in there, or if you had one child, you could even put their name in there. But anyway, maybe they call you something other than mom too. I had a comment on Instagram, I think it was, and the lady said I'd have to change it to blessed to be called Mama, which is M-A-M-A-W. So yeah, make it your own. But I used a nice green print on the back, and I used pretty soft green. I wanted it to be soft and soft. I don't know what the feminine. I wanted it to be feminine. So I really struggled with a pink, what pink to use, or even whether to use pink. But again, do it in colors that suit you. My favorite color is red, but I already have 2 red ones. So I knew I didn't want to put red, but I thought about doing yellow, but I wasn't sure it would show up enough. I thought about mauve, but I have the spring one that's mauve, and I like the pink. So anyway, and then I put a ribbon type edging on that I picked up at a local craft store. Anyway, it's stitched on 36 count. They're all on 36 count. It's stitched on 36 count cream/ivory. That's what the color is on the tag. So that's that one. And then after that, I decided I wanted to do, Canada celebrated Flag Day on this past Monday, the holiday. What was it? The 17th, I think. It's the third. I can't remember if it's the third Monday in February, maybe. Anyway, I decided the Canada flag, as we know it today, is celebrated its 60th anniversary this year. So of course that's the maple leaf, and before that it was a red flag with like the Union. I should have had a picture of it. I can't remember. Anyway, I can't tell you exactly. It's long before. Well, actually, it's the same. I was less than a year old. I turned 60 last year. So, yeah. Anyway, I decided to do a Canadian one. So, this is not part of the DMC series. This is called 1867, which was the year of Confederation for Canada. So I have a lovely old Victorian home and our beautiful flag and the year. And I finished it with a print that I really love in my stash. And I put some very small Lady Dot Create sizzle pom-pom, the mini pom-poms. And I glued it on. Her pom-poms come with a strip of edging, and you can cut that edging off as long as you're careful, and you just cut off the thread that's holding the pom-pom. I should have had that. Try to remember to show you that next time. I don't like the way it looks when I sew it in. I much prefer to glue it or to tack it on when I'm finished the pillow. But anyway, it's sizzle. And this one I filled with, the corners are filled with fiber fill, but the rest I filled with crushed walnut shells. And it's the first one I have done with the walnut shells. I love the heft of it. It's got a nice weight. It sits up nice. So, yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed stitching it. It is stitched on 36 count Highland. I think it's just called Highland linen. Highland and Edinburgh linen. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It's got a hints of greens and yellows. It's so pretty. Anyway, so that's a new one also available in my Etsy shop. I have had a couple people ask if the chart includes an American flag, and it doesn't. A couple of my pieces in my shop do have a U.S. conversion. Shore Signs of Summer has a U.S. conversion, and Four Seasons has a U.S. conversion in the pattern. And then the last new pattern, new release I did was, well, let me tell this story. I have an uncle in New Brunswick, a very, very dear uncle to me and my sister. He's a brother to my mom, and all of us nieces like to be called his favorite niece. And I know I'm really the favorite. Anyway, we have the most precious memories with him. So his name is Arnold, and we call him Arnie. We have called him Uncle Arnie since day one. And when he was young, he looked like Buddy Holly. And he can sing. Him and his wife played instruments and sang. And we're a singing family. We're a musical family. And most of our family gatherings when I was a kid ended up with music, whether it was around the pump organ or they brought out their guitars. Most of our family gatherings ended up with music. And him and his wife played guitar and mandolin and ukulele. And he can imitate Elvis extremely well, like really, really, really well. And he imitated Tiny Tim, who sang Tiptoe Through the Tulips. And he used to sing that for us when we were little kids. And if you have never heard Tiny Tim sing it, it's his song. You need to Google it and listen to him sing it or watch him sing it on YouTube. It's funny. The way he sings, and my uncle can imitate him so well. And so when we were little kids, we thought it was the funniest thing ever. When I say we, I mean my sister and I. And he loved to entertain us. And I can remember going and spending time with him at their house and him telling us funny jokes and oh my land, it's just a precious, precious, precious person in my life. So I knew I wanted to do a tulip piece this year, and this is what it ended up with: Tiptoe Through the Tulips. And I did a patchwork strip along the bottom, and then I added a strip of green rickrack. I do have a row of stitching in there. I think it's 4 rows of stitching. And then I brought my rickrack right up to it, and then my patchwork right up close to it too. So anyway, I love how it turned out. I really debated about the colors of the flowers. I didn't know if I wanted pretty pastels or if I wanted really muted colors. I tried 2 or 3 different other combinations, and this is what I ended up with, and I really love how it looks. And this also is stitched on that Highland Edinburgh, and it's 36 count. It stitches up really quickly. I mean, there's nothing to it. It's pretty much an evening. I think it took me 2 because I stitched this first one in 2 other colors first and then tore it out. But yeah, anyway, really pleased. And it's a special, it brings to mind a special memory for me of my precious Uncle Arnie. So that also is available in my shop. So from my 3 new pieces four new pieces this month, I'm going to do giveaways. So this one, we will use the word 1867. Write these down. This one, we will use the word mom, M-O-M. This one, we will use driftwood, D-R-I-F-T-W-O-O-D, all one word. And for the tiptoe, we will use the word tulips, T-U-L-I-P-S. And I think it is very springy. That's what I was going for. Okay, so that's all of my new releases for this month. So I've had 5 new releases. I'm just thrilled with that. I have been quilting a little bit, not a whole lot, but I am getting back into wanting to sew some, so that's good. I've been working on project bags, some for myself and some to sell. And I only have 2 whips. I am doing Whip Go, and my Whip Go calls this time were the Winter Sampler by Crochet A Go Go, and It's a Wonderful Life Pin Keep by Stacy Nash. So I have worked a little bit on the Winter Sampler, but not the Stacy Nash piece yet. And so this is my Winter Sampler, and I just worked on it last night, and I finished these flowers, and I started the roof of the house, and I do have a strip of white right there that's part of the house. So not a lot, but more so than I would have done if I didn't have it called for Whip Go. So I'll probably work on it again today. Anyway, this is on 30, no, I think it's 40 count vintage country mocha, and it's 1/1. I've watched 2 or 3 other, well, I've watched a lot of Flosstube lately because I'm home so much. And I've heard a lot of people commenting about stitching with 1 thread instead of 2. And I have several pieces that I started on 32 count or 28 count, and I'm stitching 2/2, and I just do not enjoy it. So I think last time I showed you that I had a restart on Huckleberry Farm, and that was why I did that. I didn't like the fabric, and I wanted to do 1 thread. This time I took out my Anniversaries of the Heart, and I showed you that sometime, I think, just in the last few videos. And that also was on 28 count. And I have the first block all done, and I have a little bit done on the second one. And I think I'm going to restart it on, I'm hoping on 40 count. I didn't think when I went to 36, I didn't think I'd ever be able to, I thought I'd struggle with 36. I didn't think I'd ever be able to go to 40, but I manage it fine. I don't mind it at all. So I am, because it's such a big piece, I am hoping to do it on 40 if I can find a piece of 40 that I like. And I have Strawberry Fields Forever. I probably will keep going with that one on the 28. I'm not sure, but there's a lot done. Feast of Friendship, that's got a lot done too, but I am going to restart that one, I think, because not only the fabric, but there's 2 or 3 things about it. I just I just want to restart. Oh, I know there's other things. Can't remember. Anyway, I have watched, like I said, lots of Flosstubers. And I've been watching QuiltyTube quite a bit. I went back and watched all of Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow. I watched all of her QuiltyTubes, and that really helped get me back into wanting to quilt. So Olivia, likely you would never see this, but I really appreciated your videos and the inspiration it gave me to pick up my quilting again. I should have showed you this, but it's out in the other room. If you've been here for a while, you know I was working on a 9-patch, 1 block a day that I started like a year ago in November. Sorry. And I kept up with the 1 block a day for a long time. And then it just got, you know, I just got caught up in other things or busy or whatever, life. And I don't know, I probably ended up with at least half of, I was trying to do like 340 roughly. I probably had half at least, maybe even closer to 200 done. And I've changed my mind. I was going to do a bed-size quilt, but I've decided I'm going to get my husband to make me a shelf to go here. I love Olivia's backdrop behind her Flosstube. And part of her backdrop is she changes out a quilt. She puts a quilt there and she changes it out seasonally. And I would love to be able to do that. So this quilt isn't as big as I want to put there. And you see I have a light switch here. So it's going to have to go from like roughly where the light switch is over to this wall. So I'm going to make my 9-patch to fit that space. And I took it apart. Like I had it, I was sewing the rows together as I was making it. And I took off some of the rows and I have the 9 patches together with the size I want them. So now I just need to put a small border, and then I want to do an applique border. And I was also watching Red Velvet Quilts, and she showed a quilty she did 2 QuiltyTubes, and she shows Lori Holt's technique for applique. And I've always known about using the interface for applique, but I've never done it. I always do raw edge applique on the machine, except for when I'm using wool. And then I do hand raw edge applique. But I want to try that, is it called interfacing? It's like interfacing, that you sew on the back and then turn them right side out. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go over to Red Velvet Quilts and check out her 2 QuiltyTubes. She shows a good demonstration of it there. I think she does a top stitch. I think I'm going to do the blanket stitch because I'm comfortable with the blanket stitch. That's what I've always done. So anyway, we'll see. And I didn't mean to get on to quilting already, but anyway, I have a couple of whips. Last time I told you that I was trying to do 1 red thread a day, and I have done most days. Thank you to Sarah from Sew Me Sarah for inspiring me again to do this. So this is Jane Austen from Modern Folk Embroidery, and I have the chart here, or the picture. So this is what the finished sampler looks like. I put in this row of lowercase alphabet, and then under that she has a row of, I would say it's initials and numbers. And I decided I didn't want to do that row. So I'm like, and I'm not putting Jane Austen on it. I'm just doing it as a, I suppose I could put my name, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. I love it. It's 28 count, I think, 1/1. And I'm using Schoolhouse Red. No, I'm not. I'm using 816. DMC 816. It's not in the bag. Anyway, I am so close to finished. I have to come down here and then double up this lower line and finish from here down. So close. Probably an evening I can finish that. And I have 2 red samplers that I've been doing once, one or the other, 1 stitch a day or 1 thread a day. Sometimes I end up with 4 or 5 threads a day, which is great. But the other one is another Modern Folk Embroidery. Oh my goodness, what's it? Home Sweet Home. What did I call this one? Home Sweet Home? This one is called Real Comfort. The other one I'm doing is Home Sweet Home, but I haven't stitched on it in the last couple of weeks. So I was waiting for thread, and that's come now. So as soon as I have this one finished, I'll move on to that one. And that's it for my cross stitch. I have some cross stitch plans. Like I said, I'm doing whip go, so I need to do... When I decided to do whip go this year, I didn't assign any number of days or hours or anything like that. Just if I touch it at least once through the month, I'm happy. So I also need to get out It's a Wonderful Life pin keep and put some stitches in that. And then my Consider the Lilies, the 29th, that's the leap year sal. 29th will be here before we know it, in a week. So I will get that out and do my monthly allotment for that. And more of the same. I have some more designs that I want to stitch of my own. So I have 2 or 3 quilts. I have 3 small quilts, a runner, and a big quilt that just need to be, one just needs to be bound, and the other one needs to have the instructions finished. The other 2 need to be quilted and bound and have the instructions finished, and then I'll have those patterns ready to put out. It's just to make myself do it. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me. Flosstube, I've watched lots of Flosstubes, lots of new people or people that they're not new, but I've never watched them before. It's just been really nice. I've been home a lot, like I said, and I've been reading a lot. I love to read, but I shouldn't say read. I listen while I'm stitching or sewing. Yeah, I won't get into that. I could do a segment each month about what I read, but I probably won't. But if you want me to, let me know. Anyway, that's it. If you want to be in on the draws for the new patterns, remember the words to use are 1867, the number 1867, the word mum, the word driftwood, and the word tulips. And I will do a random draw on my next Flosstube, which I'm hoping is 2 weeks or so, maybe 3. But we'll see. So thank you so much. And if you were my 2 winners this time, Home Sweet Home Handmade and Ruth 8676, please contact me and I will get those out to you. And thank you so much for being here with me today. Stay safe, enjoy what's left of the winter, and don't let it be too frustrating for you. And yeah, I hope you get lots of stitchy time. Thanks. See you later. Bye.